Well, good morning again, and welcome to our morning briefing webinar. I'm Jeff Kachula, president of the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to again thank Bowles Rice, our sponsor this morning. The power to prosper is right under our feet in the greater Pittsburgh region, and one local company is using that power for an ambitious plan to transform our region into new manufacturing and using what we have here to help promote economic growth. It's my pleasure to welcome this morning Yemi Akinkugbe, the Chief Excellence Officer at CNX Resources. Yemi, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for organizing this webinar. This is a very exciting time for us. As Jeff introduced me, again, my name is Yemi Akinkugbe. I work for CNX Resources. My title is the Chief Excellence Officer, and my responsibility includes supporting our operations team and pretty much the team as a whole, the company as a whole, in executing our strategic objectives, which include executing safely and compliant. But one of my primary responsibilities right now is sharing CNX's vision to make sure that people within the Appalachian region understand, one, what CNX vision is, what we stand for, how we execute, but more importantly, how to revitalize the Appalachian economy for all of us, for the United States and for the world as a whole. So, I mean, I have gladly accepted this opportunity to communicate with each and every one of you guys so that you can understand this objective from the CNX's perspective and how we intend to achieve it with the full support of the communities, with the full support of the business community, with the full support of the regulators. Those are the people we call, our stakeholders, so that we can continue to make the Appalachian region a better place for business, a better place, to succeed as a whole for everyone in it.
Well, I mean, CNX is no doubt, of course, one of our largest natural gas producers, but also a corporate citizen. And I wanted to make sure that our audience today learned about Appalachia First, which is a very ambitious plan created by CNX Resources, and we wanted to share that information with our audience this morning. If you wouldn't mind perhaps taking us through that, and we can not only discuss a little bit, have some conversation, but also gain some questions from our audience that I'd like to remind can submit their questions through the Q&A button at the bottom of their screen. So Yemi, could you take us through Appalachia First?
Perfect. Yeah, all right, as the slide is up, so hopefully everybody can see the slide. The Appalachia First vision of CNX, it's very simple. It's the way we communicate in a very simple way. And that's produce it here and use it here first. And that's our view of it. There's a tremendous amount of natural resource under our feet. And this is significant power, significant opportunity for the Appalachian region to establish itself as a powerhouse, economic heart of the United States. And like I said, by extension, the world. And our goal here is this resource that is here, let's produce it here. Let's use it here first, and then we can start to expand its reach and expand its opportunity around the world. And the primary goal of that is to transform Appalachia into a natural gas technology wherein it is being used for manufacturing. Again, it is being used to power the economy of the region, making the region a hub for manufacturing going forward. So that's a good summary of what Appalachia First stands for. That's a good summary of what CNX's vision for the region, what it is. If you go to the next slide.
And Yemi, if you don't mind me interrupting for a moment, this isn't a vision for CNX, the company, but this is CNX vision for our region. Is that correct?
That is very, very correct, Jeff. And the key thing, one of the things that we have been looking at is this is what we stand for. CNX stands for. When we're talking about the Appalachian vision, our vision, this is how we live. This is how we execute. This is how we make our decisions, primarily looking at our local community, looking at our local region to make sure that this is how we want to invest. This is how we want to revitalize, the economy of our region. And by extension, creating returns for the community, creating returns for our stakeholders, and creating returns, pretty much for everyone within the Appalachian region. So yeah, Jeff, you're right. This is what we've been doing as a company. And for those that don't know CNX, I mean, you've probably heard about us, but I think to kind of get a little bit deeper dive as to what we stand for and how we've been, pretty much the metrics that we look at and to measure and say, okay, fine, are we truly succeeding? Are we truly living by the vision that we are actually sharing right now? So for example, we've been around for 158 years. And I mean, one of the things we always try to let people understand is when CNX came into existence, Abraham Lincoln was the president at that point in time. I was looking at West Virginia they were celebrating 156 years, and CNX has been around for 158 years. We invest in our employees. I mean, that's a critical stakeholder. Those are the people that help us execute day in, day out. We invest a lot in our employees. And again, to show, our full Appalachia first, our employees are 100% local employees. 90% of our contractors are local because we always focus local. In addition to that, we support, we invest locally to make sure that our communities and the areas that we operate in, that they continue to succeed, they continue to flourish, and they continue to produce the talents that supports the company to continue to execute day in, day out. And more importantly, one of the things, if you look at our 158-year-old history of energy production in the United States, it has all been driven by technological innovation, wherein started with very, very I'll probably call the brute force approach of actually getting energy to how everything is now so mechanized, now so automated, it is now so efficient, and that has driven costs down to support the community, to support the economy of the United States as a whole. Now, the United States boasts of low energy costs. The Appalachian region can boast of low energy costs because of the resources under our feet here, as opposed to bringing in energy from potentially hostile regions around the world. We have it here. We can use it here to revitalize our economy here. That is what we stand for. That's the CNX vision, and that's, if you look at us, looking at how we manage ourselves, how we operate, how we execute daily. That is typically what drives our decision making and our investment going forward.
I think it's very impressive too. One of your statistics, $160,000 median compensation package, which was one of the highest for public companies in this region.
Yeah, and that's our goal is we attract the best talent around us. That's our goal, and those talents is what actually drives us to accomplish all the things that we've been doing. Those are the talents that bring us closer every day to accomplishing what we call our sustainable business model. We have a business model that we are disciplined in executing, and we want to bring in the right talent with the right culture to help us, execute that business model and that plan going forward. That's the key there as it relates to being able to recruit the best minds, to recruit the best talent, to recruit the best culture to help us execute this going forward.
Yeah, and Yemi, it's working because our producer in here, Chase McLean, is filling out your online application right now.
All right, I'll be glad to see you, Chase, very here soon.
I'm sorry, please continue.
Yeah, next slide. So, I mean, talking about the Appalachia first, when you're looking at our area of operation, CNX is, we have assets in Ohio, West Virginia, and primarily Pennsylvania. Majority of our assets are in Pennsylvania, especially when you're talking about the Marcellus Shale and the Utica Shale. So and this region itself, one thing that a lot of people don't understand is it is, about 50% of the United States population is, about a day's drive from this region. A day's drive, 50% of the United States population. That's what makes this region very, very important. That's what makes Appalachia very, very important. And when you look at it based off of, electricity costs, the low electricity costs that we enjoy, the energy security that the United States enjoy today. I mean, you can imagine, I think a few years back, wherein the United States was still very dependent on foreign energy coming into the country. We still have it right now. We still have imports of natural gas and oil coming into the United States. That's one of the things we are actually. That's one of the key aspects of our vision. We have this resource here. We can displace those imported energy and start using our energy here first to create a local economy that benefits everybody within the region and the United States as a whole. And one key thing also here is the local energy that is produced here. We talk about electricity, we talk about heating, but there is more to it. And that's one of the things I'll probably discuss, along this slide as well. There is a lot more to it. There's a lot more to be displaced when it comes to energy import into the country, but there is a lot more to use when it comes to natural gas. We call this the derivatives. And these derivatives, for example, we're talking about CNG, we're talking about LNG, we're talking about even generating electricity to power and kickstart the hydrogen economy within the region. There's so much opportunity when it comes to natural gas and its utility within the economy of the region and the U.S. as a whole. That's one of the things that we are, talking to people about to understand the opportunity that it presents. And the key aspect of it, this is one of the cleanest energy out there. When you're looking at GHG, this is the greenhouse gas reduction that this region has seen and that the United States has seen as a whole is primarily driven by natural gas. And there is more benefit to it that we can continue to leverage.
And Yemi, your point is well taken, because we have the resources here to generate our own energy for the United States, which prevents us from importing natural gas or other energy sources from, in some cases, countries that don't share our values or perhaps are enemies to our country.
That is exactly the truth, Jeff. Because we still bring some of the energy, oil, gas, from some of this hostile countries, hostile region. We don't need, as a country, we don't need to do that. We have so much resources within the United States that we don't necessarily have to do that at all. When you're looking at jet fuel, one of the things I was amazed when I was reading a paper was, the U.S. exports jet fuel, but at the same time imports jet fuel. So you start to ask yourself, does that even make any sense when we're exporting, but also importing it? And that's, if you look at the whole energy space, you see a lot of that, happening. But we have enough within the confines of the Appalachia alone to sustain the United States, where we don't have to rely on hostile government or hostile regime for our energy at all. And that's what we're saying again, that we need to start thinking about using this energy, using this resource here first. Let's revitalize our economy. I mean, think about it. I'm getting ahead of myself. We export this energy out there, and then export our jobs out there, and for the manufacturing of products that we need. And that product, after we've exported our manufacturing, exported our energy to support that manufacturing that is exported out there, they ship back the product to us, for us to buy at a premium, supporting the economy, but at the detriment of our own economy. Those are things that need to reverse itself because of what we have here. Some of the things that have actually caused that are policies that are in place. Some of this, for lack of a better term, I'll say, anti energy policies, anti-clean energy policies, anti-responsible government policies that are in place that are causing such circular or detrimental circular movement of product, back into the United States. One, it doesn't support the United States economy. Two, is actually much more detrimental when you're talking about greenhouse gas, because you can imagine you're moving that energy there to support the manufacturing there, which is not even up to the United States standards when it comes to greenhouse gas emission or environmental emission or human rights emission. And then it is shipped right back to us, emitting all kinds of greenhouse gas for us to actually buy again at higher expenditure, at higher cost. This disproportionately hurts the American economy, but more so it hurts, all the what people are called um, um, the economically challenged people, within the population of the United States and within the population of our region, within our communities. It disproportionately, hurts, kind of like the elderly within our community. These are things that we want to see change, one, through policy and through leveraging the resources that we have. This resource is God-given. Why can't we use it? Other people are using it within their countries. I think the United States needs to start leveraging this opportunity going forward.
I can't agree with you more.
Next slide. So here are some stats when it comes to the benefit of natural gas. And looking at it, one, from the standpoint, because most people always look at it, it's like, hey, what's the economic benefits? Okay, what is in it for me, right? Here is the benefit that is in it for every single person. 60% cost saving when it comes to airline, okay, in the airline industry. 60% cost saving when it comes to the shipping industry. 30% cost saving when it comes to the trucking. This is a cost of fuel, all right, that precipitate into cost saving in this industry. And we're not even talking about the benefit when it comes to the greenhouse gas, the emission savings from this, alone. But when it comes to the direct economic benefit, this is significant. This is significant. And that's why we look at it that natural gas is not, a bridge fuel, kind of like a transition fuel. We look at it as a catalyst fuel. This is a fuel that is going to drive innovation. This is a fuel that is going to drive economic revitalization. This is a fuel that is going to drive, a recreation of what I'll call, the full-blown economic potential of our region. And the sooner we embrace it, the sooner we start to create and support policies that that leverages this resource, the better for us, the better for the region, the better for the U.S., the better for the world as a whole. One of the sometimes when we're talking about, I know some people may love, some people hate it, some people love it, whatever it is. But the natural gas or greenhouse gas emission goals that are out there, nationally or even locally, natural gas is what has actually achieved all the benefits so far. And when you start looking at the goals that are being set out there, I mean, the president of the United States set a goal, in the Paris Agreement not too long ago, saying we're going to reduce up to about 50% their emissions relative to 2005 levels. The path to being able to even achieve that is through the leveraging of natural gas. And we're doing it because it's here. And two, because it can achieve those goals. And at the same time, low, affordable energy for us to revitalize our economy. Looking at greenhouse gas emission reduction and revitalizing the economy, they're not mutually exclusive. From our standpoint, they work together. And the solution there is natural gas. And that's why we are so enamored about sharing and making sure people understand the benefit of natural gas going forward. Next slide. This is another opportunity to kind of like show you what natural gas has done so far when it comes to emission reduction. Our goal is we have this natural gas in this region. There is an opportunity for it to displace heavier fuels when we're talking about a greenhouse gas reduction. Look at natural gas, when you're looking at the emission signature of natural gas, it's much lower than the heavier fuels that we have right now that we're using. Like, for example, for gasoline, when you're talking about the transportation industry, when you're talking about heating, when you're talking about some other home or local domestic or commercial use. All of those home, domestic, commercial use can be replaced also by natural gas. Natural gas is cleaner, and the secret here is it is also less expensive than these other fuels that we have out there. And looking at the signature when it comes to emission reduction, natural gas has done a lot more for emission reduction than some of the renewables that people kind of like tout out there. And the boogeyman when it comes to renewables is everybody wants to believe that, hey, they don't have any emission. But when you look at how those things are made, the components that are being used to make them. Now, we're not even going to talk about the disposal of those components when they're done, but just how they're made. There's a significant emission profile, emission signature associated with them. And again, looking at some of these renewables and comparing them to natural gas is still superior when it comes to environmental benefit that it brings to the table.
Yeah, there's no question that natural gas has helped reduce emissions and really made our air cleaner, especially in this region.
Yeah, I mean, 40% greenhouse gas reduction in this region is directly attributable to natural gas. That is the power of the resource that we have within the Appalachian region.
Okay.
Next slide. So probably I touched on this regarding like the supply chain of products from that come from outside. Our vision is the one at the top there. Our vision is we produce it here, we make it here, we use it here to support our economy, bolster our economy here, bolster the Appalachian economy, bolster the Commonwealth economy, bolster the U.S. economy, and by extent, and then we can now export some of this benefit out there. That is truly an economist's view of how the economy of a local region or the economy of a country is robust. That's what we, CNX, that's what we are preaching. That is what we support. That is our vision. The one on the lower side is what we are saying, that is the wrong calculus when it comes to supporting the local economy. That is the wrong calculus when it comes to revitalizing the local economy. You're not just going to you take your resource. This is what we've been doing as a country. You take your resource and send it out there. And like I said, some of these countries that we're sending it to, they're hostile countries. They're not looking out for our own best interests. We send it out there. We ship our manufacturing out there. And, they have practices there that are not, their practices are not even nearly, aligned with our values. We see it with the American values at all. And then they ship this product back to us. Number one, we've exported our future. We've exported our wealth to them. But at the same time, now we're exporting our hard-earned money also to them through the products they're shipping back to us. And the third part of it is also we are sacrificing our environment by all of that circular transportation of energy there and product back to us that is not even in support of the vision, that some people. Next slide. So big question here, when it comes to what is CNX doing? Can you show us example of the benefit of natural gas when it comes to what you're saying regarding this vision to revitalize the economy of the region? This is an example. This is a case study of what CNX has done. And this is in partnership with the Pittsburgh International Airport. Some of you might have seen this press release on this regarding this partnership that we have with Pittsburgh International Airport. The first part of it is, wherein the Pittsburgh International Airport is now fully, is now independent by, generating its own energy, generating its own electricity through the microgrid with natural gas produced on site. They're powering, the terminal, they're powering the airfield, they're powering public areas of the airport with a microgrid that is there. They've been supported primarily by natural gas, microgrid with natural gas, and some solar panels as well. That is the true definition of using the energy that we have here to support our local economy. The other thing that we've morphed this into the next phase of our partnership, wherein we started to work by unleashing technology to leverage the derivatives from natural gas. This is CNG and LNG, wherein the airport now starts to power pretty much the airlines, power the trucks, pretty much all the trucks, all the transportation aspect of their business with natural gas derivatives, displacing the heavier fuels they have higher greenhouse gas signature as a result. This, in our view, is truly unleashing innovation, one, and two, the benefit of natural gas for a local economy. Transportation still remains the highest when it comes to emission in the highest emission industry in the United States. The key thing here, we look at it as natural gas as a key to reverse that. And for US to actually, for the United States to be a leader when it comes to, emission reduction, low cost, affordable energy use within the confines of the country.
That's what I was, that slide's very interesting because it demonstrates that Appalachia First is not just a plan, but you can put it into practice with your work with the Pittsburgh International Airport.
Exactly. One of the things whenever we're talking, thinking about, okay, fine, how do we truly leverage this? Our goal is to lead by example. And this is, kind of like showing that example, how it can be done. This is just one phase of the, of the economy of the region. This is just a single phase of that. There are multiple opportunities. I mean, when we go to the next slide, that's another opportunity that we show. Chase, if you can go to the next slide. This is another case study where in CNX, working with New Light Technology, this is a California technology. I mean, sometimes you kind of like, some people might squirm like, wait a second, you guys are working with California, but there's manufacturing there and they're coming to our region because of our low cost resource that we have and because of our work ethic that we have within the region, because of, even the other resources, infrastructure that we have within the region. They see the gold mine within our region to want to come. This is a company that is using natural gas and work, using natural gas and in combination with microorganisms, creating what we're calling biodegradable plastic. They call it air carbon, biodegradable plastic. Plastic is a problem when I'm talking about the ocean. I mean, we were talking about there's a lot of plastic in the ocean. Here is a company using natural gas, and again, curbing emissions, from that and creating biodegradable plastic. They are coming to Hannibal in Ohio, but this is the start of it. This is an opportunity to start for leadership within when we're talking about, biodegradable plastic, but also creating manufacturing within our region. This is another case study that CNX partnering with New Light Technology to leverage the power of and the benefits of natural gas to unleash our economy going forward.
Another plan into practice.
Yes. So here are the issues that we want to make sure people are aware of, and this is where we start to call everyone to action. That we need to start to speak up. We need to start to support, policies, proposed policies, support policies that embrace natural, that embrace using our resources within the region to pretty much advance manufacturing within our region. First things first, low-income households are hurt the most. Last year was a very, very painful year when it comes to low-income household. Quite frankly, it was a painful year for all of us because of energy costs across board. This was done by partly done by a hostile regime outside of our shores, but is affecting within our shores. We were paying for that. And like I said, the people that paid the most for it are low-income households. We need to stop that. That is not sensible for a responsible company or a responsible nation. When you look at, even when you start talking about electric vehicles, yeah, people talk about electric vehicles, but they're very expensive. They're out of the reach of a lot of people. They're out of the reach of most of us because they're very, very expensive. When you're looking at even, subsidies, what we are paying for when it comes to some of this renewables, we're subsidizing when it comes to this renewables. And their effect currently when it comes to the energy portfolio of the United States, it's a little bit asymmetric. Right? These are things that, again, I'll keep saying now, no, I'll sound like a broken record, that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't know. Take, for example, one of the ones you're seeing there, that Europe is paying about 7 times more for natural gas. What they're suffering, or what they are going through, is the result of decades of bad policy, decades of policies that are cheap, efficient, clean energy within their countries, and their people are paying for it. We cannot afford to follow that as a country. We cannot afford to follow that as a people. We cannot afford to follow that as a region. And that's why we need a collective effort of everybody to speak up and, we all have opportunities and ways we can effectuate change. We need to start using those opportunities. We need to start leveraging those opportunities to make sure the right changes are in place, the right policies are in place to achieve a vision such as ours.
Yeah, we recently provided testimony to the Pennsylvania Senate Majority Policy Committee that's chaired by Senator Dan Laughlin from Erie. And we had a lot of the same comments. We're for the exploration, of course, of solar, wind, other renewables, but we do have, as you mentioned, this energy here that we could be using. And, when you take the subsidies away, it becomes more expensive. So our point was we should really let the market decide also what energy sources that we should be using.
Exactly. Jeff, that was spot on. That's one of the things we always make sure people understand. Like you said it perfectly. We're not anti-wind, we're not anti-solar, we're not anti-renewable. But the key thing is let's be transparent about what, about every aspect of it. Let's be transparent
exactly right.
to the cost associated with it. Let's be transparent to the greenhouse gas benefit associated with it. Let's be transparent with the what I'll call the human rights aspect of the components that come to me. Let's be transparent about everything and let the people understand what the benefits are, what the drawbacks are, and then let the free market make the decision associated with that. Not trying to use policies or use some subsidies to cover something so as to tout it as being better, or in one light that some bias or some self-interest wants to kind of show it as. So these are the policies that are out there that we all, like I said, we all need to start to understand and start to speak out against or for, to make sure that, one, policymakers understand what the right policies are, understand, number one, some consequences, for example, in Europe, when they make wrong policies, or at the same time, us proposing policies that support the goals that we have as a people, the goals of, better life, the goals of low cost energy, the goals of revitalized economy, the goals of improving the lives of our communities around us. And this way, policies that support that. Natural gas, everything, in my view, funnels down to leveraging of natural gas that we have here to unleash that. I think this is the final slide. Next slide. Yeah, this slide, this is how to support us. This is how to get more information from CNX, because for those that are not aware, we have a website, we call it the positiveenergyhub.com. You can find that website if you go to CNX, www.cnx.com. We've put in a lot of information there to educate people as when it comes to the benefits of natural gas, policies that are out there, understand what CNX is doing to support this vision, how you can get involved, how you can support the execution of this vision. I'll encourage you guys out there to check this out. We put in a lot of information there. We work hard to make sure everyone around us, everyone within the region, even all our stakeholders they have the right information. That's our goal, having the right information. Sometimes we do the hard work. We do the hard work on the analysis so that you understand some of this aspects when it comes to energy, when it comes to renewables out there, that people understand what the drawbacks are, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are. Regarding all of this energy portfolio within the U.S.
This is a very powerful presentation, and we thank you for it because it really shows CNX's commitment, not only corporate-wise, but also region-wise, on how we take this asset that we have right under our feet and really put it to action for our own benefit in this region. Do you have time for a couple questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had a couple come in from our audience today. The first one was, can you share CNX view on how hydrogen plays into Appalachia first, particularly in hydrogen hubs, or the development of hydrogen hubs?
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly a big buzz when it comes to hydrogen and the discussion that it is going to be part of the energy future of the United States, or by extension, the world. Here are the key things. When our view from the CNX's vision and, quite frankly, reality, if we're being pragmatic about this, natural gas is going to be the backbone of that. Number one, the natural gas itself, the resource itself, more than 85 to 90% of hydrogen that is being produced today in the U.S. or potentially around the world is from natural gas. Steam methane reforming is from natural gas. So we still see natural gas supporting that, but more so, from some of the technologies we are unleashing when we're creating LNG, CNG, and when we talk about hydrogen, this is creating electricity that's going to be supporting the hydrogen economy that we're all working towards. Hydrogen by itself, using it within the society, is still years away. Commercial scale hydrogen is still years away. But here is the key thing: natural gas will be what we'll call the backbone of the creation or the embracing or bringing hydrogen as a sustained energy resource within the energy portfolio of the United States. So when you're looking at it, how does this fit within the CNX's vision? Absolutely, it fits within the CNX vision because we see it as natural gas being the catalyst. That's why we say natural gas is not a bridge, it is a catalyst. Natural gas will be the catalyst for that hydrogen hub, for that hydrogen economy that is being worked towards.
Another question came in: what are the obstacles that you see to implement and fully engage this vision?
Simple: policies. Okay, it's quite easy. Policies. The policies that have been generated for years now are, quite frankly, they're anti-fossil fuel, they're anti-natural gas. I probably could say they're actually anti-Appalachian region, because if you boil it down to that, that's what we're seeing regarding some of these policies. And the other obstacle, that's the chief obstacle that I see. And the consequence of that, you don't have to look far and to look at what's going on in Europe. And if we think it's Europe far land away, we shouldn't think about that. It can happen here if we don't change the trajectory of our policies that are coming out. The other aspect to it is lack of understanding, lack of education, because sometimes when we engage people and talking to people regarding natural gas, the benefit of natural gas, or energy, low-cost energy within the United States as a whole, you start to find out some aspect of disinformation within, talking to some people. You start to find out some aspect of misinformation or lack thereof. And that's the aspect of getting people educated, getting people informed when it comes to, again, the goals that are being, touted out there when it comes to low emissions, when it comes to efficient, reliable, sustainable energy. That's one of the things we CNX, and we will need the help of everybody here to continue to educate people, put out the facts. I know sometimes it's hard kind of putting out facts nowadays, because it's amazing how people look at facts and then they look at facts. But my point being, our goal is to continue to put out facts when it comes to the full balance of energy transparency, the full balance when it comes to energy portfolio, and the full balance when it comes to efficient, sustainable, affordable energy within the United States portfolio.
That ties in really great with our last question. We become educated. What can we do as a chamber, as an organization, as a citizen in this region to help promote this vision?
Key thing: speak about the vision. Direct people to the energy hub if they want to get that information. And that's one of the things I'm doing. I'm available to talk to anybody, talk to people about the practicality of this vision as exampled by what CNX is doing, with the airport, with new lines, and getting people educated. As in, this is not a story far in some distant land. This is a story that is executable within the Appalachian region that we CNX are starting to execute on. And there are clear benefits and there are clear details that people can follow. more importantly, the chamber and everybody, that's listening here, sharing the message. When we're building coalition to get people to change detrimental policies, we all need to get involved. Looking at it from afar and saying, someone else is going, no, there's no someone else that is going to do it. It is us. It is left to us to make sure some of these policies are changed or some of these policies don't come to fruition, because the effects of it are decades. The effects of it are very detrimental. So this is how we truly get involved, every aspect. Either it's the chambers, either it's businesses, either it's our friends. We need to start speaking up. We need to start speaking out to make sure people understand that people understand and know what we stand for. Gone are the days that we'll apologize for what we've done. Gone are the days, that we continue to apologize, for the good, that our industry, the good that our businesses have done. We have built the economy of the United States to make, to where it is today. And there's a lot more building to be done going forward. We shouldn't apologize for that. We should stand up and be proud and speak out in support of, what we are doing and what else we can continue to do when it comes to energy security.
Yemi, I have to say this is a very ambitious plan, but I think it's the right plan because we're taking the natural resources that we have right here in southwestern Pennsylvania and using it to grow our economy, not exporting our future, as you said earlier in the program. So I would like to thank you for being with us this morning. We certainly appreciate your vision and that of your CEOs, Nick DeLulius, as well. We appreciate that in helping to really turn this region around and making us sure we can move forward with our great energy future. So thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate you having me. Clearly, you can see how excited I am when it comes to talking about this vision, because
it's contagious, and we appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
All right, we certainly appreciate your time this morning. You can find a copy of this program on YouTube later today. And I would also like to thank again our guest, Yemi, for being with us this morning and taking his time out to talk about this important program and important vision for our region. Also to Bowles Rice, we certainly appreciate their continued support. And finally, I'd like to say that on February 23rd, we'll be having our annual Washington County State of the Economy that is presented by Community Bank, be at the Hilton Garden Inn, and we look forward to seeing you there. On behalf of the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, have a great day.
Thank you.